For the past 3 to 4 years, I've been saying this, that if Kyle Shanahan has a quarterback that's just 10% better than Jimmy Garoppolo, he's probably already won 2 Super Bowls in 4 years. If Kyle just had a quarterback that could make either one of those 2 throws to Emmanuel Sanders in that 4th quarter against the Chiefs on that deep over or that deep post route, we're talking about them blowing out the Kansas City Chiefs and winning that Super Bowl in 2019. Or if he just has a quarterback that can make 2 throws in the NFC Championship game back in 2021, they don't choke it to the Rams, they go on and they beat the Bengals in that Super Bowl. And look, whether you like it or not, Kyle Shanahan now has a top 10 quarterback in the NFL in Brock Purdy, a guy who is honestly probably better than Matt Ryan. And we all saw just how prolific that offense was in 2016 with the Atlanta Falcons and Kyle Shanahan. And I know what most of you were thinking that are big opponents of Brock Purdy being a top 10 or top 5 NFL quarterback. Where's the arm talent? Where's the size? Where's the athleticism? And I'm going to be honest, you probably thought that way about Drew Brees and you probably thought that way about Tom Brady. But Brock is just a more mobile version of Drew Brees. Brock and Drew Brees actually have a lot of the similar skill sets. You know, the anticipation throws, that ability to understand post-snap whenever a defense wants to have late rotation on the back end, where to go with it. But then Brock actually has a part of his skill set that not even Drew Brees had. And that's his ability to flip his hips and get outside of the pocket and buy just a few more seconds. But Brock will also stay in the pocket and take a hit. And this isn't to bring down Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo was a very nice quarterback for Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers, but he just wasn't the guy to get them over that hump. Brock's a guy that can do everything just as good as Jimmy Garoppolo could, and we're talking about those quick slants, the wide receiver screens, the running back screens, and the seam route throws, but he can also complete the deep overs, the post routes, go outside the numbers, etc., etc., etc. And you're adding this to a team that's already stacked at every single position that matters and that is important offensively. We always wonder what Kyle Shanahan's system would look like with a quarterback that can maximize every single play action throw and pre-snap motion throw. But Brock's come just beyond all of that. Kyle is now developing a drop back game, which he never had with Jimmy Garoppolo. And that's not Kyle's fault. That's just because Jimmy was limited as a passer and what he could do. And we haven't even talked about the Niners defense and how well they've been playing underneath Steve Wilkes. This team isn't just set up for this year, but for next year as well. I think we all know that they're going to go out and win the Super Bowl this year. And if anybody gets in the way, they're probably going to squash them. But for the conversation I don't think a lot of people are ready to have, and it makes a lot of people uncomfortable, is the fact that we're going to start talking about Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy in the same way that we talk about Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid at the beginning of every season, or how we used to talk about Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. We always say for those duos that every year we came into the league that, oh, they are definitely the favorite to win it. And I know a lot of you are uncomfortable by that conversation because a lot of you still think that Brock Purdy is a good story. Well, I have news for you. He's not a story anymore. Most people that actually break down all 22 film and know what they're talking about say the same thing. Brock is here to stay. He has a skill set that is similar to Drew Brees, and it's because of that skill set that Kyle's going to utilize him and help maximize his skill set and his potential in his system. I'm confident that eventually Kyle Shanahan's going to have one of the best drop back and shotgun pass offenses in the league here in about 2 to 3 years. All Kyle's needed to make himself a dynasty and one of the best head coaches of all time was a quarterback that can just hit a top 10. I just need a top 10 QB. That's all he needed. And you're seeing what his offense looks like maximized. Coming from a Patriots fan, this kind of sucks to say because I don't want to say it, but I think Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy are probably going to be the actual next dynasty in football. That's how good of a play caller Kyle Shanahan is. That's how good the 49ers front office is at replacing offensive talent and identifying it in the draft. And with Brock Purdy's skill set, I don't see how they don't go out there and win 3 in 10 years. I don't see how they don't. This year, for sure, I put my money on next year, and in one of the next 5 years, I definitely would believe it. I know this angers some of y'all and makes you roll your eyes at me, and you can do that if you want, but I'm just telling you the truth. Brock Purdy is going to be labeled as a great quarterback after he wins the NFL MVP, after he wins the Super Bowl, and wins the Super Bowl MVP this season. And I'm just getting out in front of it before anybody else does, because I see that in him. And now he's paired with the best play designer and play caller in football. Maximize Kyle Shanahan's offense, open up the playbook to some plays that they never used with Jimmy, hell, some plays that they haven't used since they had Matt Ryan in Atlanta operating the system. Just how we used to always say, Andy Reid's going to go full Reid in the playoffs and choke a game away that he should win. Then he got Pat, won a couple Super Bowls, and now no one ever mentioned Andy Reid's past atrocities in the playoffs of mismanaging game clock and losing games he should win. Same thing just happened to Kyle. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you haven't already, go and like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new, because I have plenty more content like this, and I'll see you all in the next one. Adios, mis amigos.